Hello viewers, welcome to our live interview with Mr. Lekan Fatodu, who is MD of Leeman Communications.
Thank you.
You're welcome to the program. Like, you've been making so many allegations in the internet, in the social media space about Omoyele Sowore, who is publisher of Sahara Reporters. How did it come to this?
Really unfortunate that, you know, right now in the public place for this kind of reason, because even though I'm a media individual, I've always been a private person. How did it come to this? It happened in 2016. I remember I got a call from Sowore, I think on the 6th of January 2016, and I thought it was a joke. You know, he just rang me Lakeside, that's where we call each other, and show, hey, what's going on, bro?
So, you call him Show, he calls you Lakeside?
Yeah.
Funky names.
Yeah. So, and it was like, oh, I heard that you did something, a contract with government, and you were paid 1.7 billion naira, and out of the 1.7 billion naira, you got 500 million naira, you know, and I was laughing. I said, sure. I think the last time we saw was 2014, you know, and we had fun, and there isn't anything about my life that we don't discuss. I know your wife, you know, you asked about my family and everything. You've eaten in my mother's home, in my family home, you know. The only contact you had with Lagos State was when you were admitted to Unilag, you know, so we started off within the same neighborhood, you know, so we're so close that I just took it as a joke. So the next thing was, I'm telling you now, you know, because it's really going to favor you if you can just open up to me 500, and out of it, I would like to have
500 what?
500 million naira.
Okay, okay.
That's the cut that he said he had that I got from 1.7 billion naira. The funny thing is, he didn't get the right information to even know the government agency that I had worked for in the past, so to really validate his story. So like a friend, I was just like, oh, you know what, I'm in a meeting, I did your information, it's totally wrong, totally wrong. And before then he said, hey bros, if you can just, there's an issue, the EFCC is after you. You know, I know them, I have friends there, I publish stories for them. Actually, they even serve as my, you know, informants about what is going on in government. So sometimes before some stories are out, you know, they would pass on to me, just let me, and I was like, with my level of exposure and experience, you can't tell me that, you know, EFCC is going to call me. Let them come now. I just sit down and ask them what you want, except if you've got anything to hide. So he now said to me that to kill all of these and to make everything proper, you know, guys are waiting, and he will need 100 million naira for them, all of them together from the EFCC source. And I laughed. I said, sure, you know what, just go. I'm in a meeting, I will call you back.
So this is where I will stand.
You will know that if I've got anything to hide
here, just to, you know, not legitimately victimize you over something you have, you know, that's a legitimate business transaction, according to you, right?
Of course.
But you also know that.
Sure. May I ask you a question? You didn't deem it necessary for us to probably wait for the EFCC to just call me that Lekan Fatodu, there's something like this, come to this place and see how it goes.
But you're the one who called Lekan. When I told you yesterday, you know, if people contact me and say that EFCC wants to invite you to something, and I said to them, let me work on it. So if the party that brought me to this picture say, oh, they are going after you, and I said to him, calm down now, you know, I know this guy. You understand? That's all I was telling you yesterday, and that's all that I can do.
Okay, no problem. I did mention something because I always like to work clean. Me, keep mind lati face the issue, me justice, my face frontally. That's the reason why I was saying that. Show, if you are ever in doubt, I will be the last person to hide over an issue like this. That's why I said that if you don't believe me that much, I said wherever you are, I can open my account and you see.
I for example, expect a bank manager to be able to
listen now, show.
No, I have told you the. So we understand that as a bank manager, it's based on the relationship that I have. But there's no problem.
I have a bank manager in this town too, and I'm sure I don't have as much money as you do.
Because the problem is, sure, I will get back to you. No problem at all. All right. Thanks. Yeah. Cheers.
Where were you when this conversation happened?
I was actually in Nigeria.
Okay. He was where?
He did not tell me. He was calling with an international number, apparently American number. You know, I did not tell him he was in Nigeria at the time. You know, just to let me know what the situation was. After the conversation, and I said to him that I was going to call him back. I think about 3 or 5 minutes after the call, that conversation, a guy just rang me, another American number. He just said to me, you know, American, speaking with American accents, and he was like, "Oh, Mr. Lekan Fatodu, my publisher just called you now. He mentioned that I did a job in which Mr. Fani Kayode used me to collect money from government, and we've got this." This guy was saying all this to me. Like, as such, the EFCC guys, operatives, they've reached out to his publisher, that is Sowore, that, you know, they are coming after you, and, you know, Sowore is the one begging them that, you know, we are friends and all sorts of things like that. So I was so angry. I just gave that guy a very bitter dressing down. You know that, you know what, from the way you are sounding, I would assume that you have some modicum of decency. How do you call somebody and be sounding that way? So I got really angry that the first text message, I'm sure Sowore has all of these things. The first text message that I sent to Sowore reads in this manner: January 6th. Okay, you can actually read it, please. This is the message I sent over there.
Sure, I said I'm gonna call you when I'm out of here. I'm in a meeting, and the network here is really bad. So there's no reason why a stranger who sounds like a white guy will be calling me saying he's calling from Sahara Reporters. Okay, this is your own message to him.
Yeah?
And trying to extract words from me by force. That wasn't appropriate. I'll call you soon, Chess. Oh, okay, I think he got...
And Sowore replied, read what?
Oh, okay, I think he got the information separately. That was him?
Yeah, that was Sowore saying that the guy that he sent got the information separately, because he never expected that I was going to react in anger, you know. So with that, he was...
Are you saying here on camera that your friend of over 20 years, yeah, according to what you've written elsewhere, was trying to blackmail you?
Absolutely. It's a case of total blackmail. There is no way to describe it.
This is a serious allegation.
There is no way to describe it. Can I tell you something? You know, this is the strategy. It is very easy. If your reputation is going to be destroyed, you know, they just need to let the public know that you have friends in government, or you have done contracts with government. You know, the assumption is anyone who has done contracts or who is connected to anybody in government is corrupt. You know, so if your reputation is going to be dragged down, you know, in the public place, it's just a matter of speaking about. And a lot of people have been victims of these things, and they couldn't come out, you know. And I do say something that 3 things have worked for me. I've never been a backbencher in the media and the international development space. I have a reputation that cannot be assailed, and I am so gutsy, you know. If they say to me that there's going to be, you know, death over there, I'm just going to confront it that way. So one of the people that I spoke with when this issue happened was was Barrister Festus Keyamo, a notable individual in Nigerian society. And I showed him all the text messages, all the conversations between me and Sowore, and he was like, Lekan, this is shameful. The world should not just get to know all of these things between yourself and Sowore. I said to him that Sowore violated my friendship. Sowore, you know, abused my friendship. Sowore undermined me. And whenever I see him, and that day I said to him that I was going to send a petition to the Inspector General of Police. I'm going to send to Lagos State. I'm going to deal with Sowore. That is the word I used.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I said to him, I said, I'm going to deal with Sowore by all legal means. And he was like, Lekan, I beg you, take it easy. So I think a week after meeting Keyamo, Sowore saw Keyamo at the airport in Abuja. So Keyamo now told him that, listen, Lekan came to me, we are all brothers, you know, and this is what happened and everything like that. And Sowore was like, oh, Lekan wasn't humble, I was trying to do this, I was like, and he said to him that this is what Lekan said, but he was expecting apology from me and everything, that you guys should find a way of settling him. I went to another friend who is also popular in Nigeria, I mean within the civil society space, you know, and I showed him the details of my conversation with Sowore. I showed him my engagement with government, and I told him that, you know, on this case, Sowore is really going to mess up, you know. So it's better for him to just come, apologize, and I let go.
He is coming from the point where he says you were friends with people in government. Mm-hmm. This is during the Goodluck Jonathan era. And so is it true that you collected money, that amount of money? I mean, let's even begin to talk about the 1.7 billion now. How much was the contract? Was it legitimate? Did you get this contract because you know anyone in government?
Okay, let me say this to you. Number one, the contract was a legitimate contract. And it's actually a pride for me and to the image of my organization that, you know, I was able to get contracts at the level of the National Security Advisor Office, okay? And the contract was a contract. I've said it openly in my writings when all of these things started. I said the contract was just a contract of 38 million naira, and we were paid 12 million naira.
Did you explain this to him when he called you?
I have all the text messages here.
So out of that 12 million naira, did he get a cut?
No, actually, Sowore, it's so funny. Like people say, social media has created this kind of illusion that makes people, you know, feel jealous about what is not real. You know, I will give you it might sound funny, but I will let you know this. This is what I do in the UK. I publish this magazine. Okay, this guy is just an ordinary person. Actually, it was on the back of this magazine. Check out that I had an encounter with Mr. Femi Fanikayode back then. You can see this edition was dedicated to stories around aviation. So this guy on the cover of this magazine his case was reported some time ago that he was ejected from a BA flight. You know, we did the story. The guy, up to this present moment, the guy is very, you know, grateful, appreciative of what we did. There was a time my picture and the former minister of, I think it was Foreign Affairs, late Ojomadueke, came to London, and I was called by the ambassador, the High Commissioner, Dr. Tafida, you know, because as of that, our publication was actually highly rated. So I took a picture and all that. All of a sudden, I still have the email. Sowore just told me, because he assisted in running a story. You know, he just told me, how I saw your picture with Madueke. No, you have to be mindful with these politicians, this and all that. And I told all this story. And I said, let me tell you something. You live in America. I live in the UK. If you need to get passport, Nigerian passport, and all of that to come to Nigeria, you will still need to go to the embassy in America or to the High Commission in the UK, and they're going to issue you a Nigerian passport. The process of that passport collection and all of those things, you know, by so many people has even been described to be corrupt. You know, are you going to say to me that because of that action, you're not going to cease to take your passport and stuff?
Did you benefit from the $2.1 billion Dasuki contract?
It's so funny. You know, like I said from the beginning, if you want to destroy people or reputation, just find a story that can easily get people worked up or irritated. You know, the federal government of Nigeria, in its wisdom, published names of over 200 companies to come for contract verification, or to come before the contract.
That was when Buhari took over.
Exactly, to come before the contract verification committee this is my thinking. Are you saying to me that all of those companies must have been involved in illicit transactions with the office of the NSA? The office of the NSA attends to so many services and so many activities, you know. And when this issue happened, what really got Sowore attracted when I mentioned about the issue of national security was the fact that he could not imagine that you will go to the office of national security advisor, what you will get out of it. When they said Jonathan was throwing money like water, the only thing you could get was 12 million naira. It's a lie. Are
you friends with Fani Kayode? And you know, because give and take, Sowore is an investigative journalist, so he probably had some information you did not have. Were you ever friends with Fani Kayode, and what was your level of friendship? Did he ever help you in any way to get contracts with government?
Not at all. I think I can even say maybe the only engagement that seems to be kind of beneficial was just the fact that sometimes I remember a time I came from the UK and I was going to Kano State. You know, we traveled together to Kano State, you know, then. And on the flight, an ambassador in the UK then, who was from Kano, was promoted to Saudi Arabia. We all met on the flight. Coincidentally, we met the governor on the flight, and we were all just talking. So the only thing I would see as benefits is the fact that, you know, you and somebody in power work together, and in the course of it, you exchange contact with different people, networking. Okay. So, like I said, the only relationship between me and myself with Mr. Fani Kayode, which in short, I'm close to a lot of people in government. The immediate past head of the amnesty office, Mr. Kuko, you understand? So I'm mentioning his name so they can know that I'm close to a lot of people in government. You know, we were friends. There was a time I was in Atlanta together with him, and around Sowore we spoke, you know, at length. So there's no reason why I be friends with some people.
So and you and Fani Kayode do not talk like regularly?
No. Everybody is busy, you know, in their ways, you know. So I think the reason why he's trying to put that up, yeah, and from now till the end of time, that is not going to amount to something, because number one, for instance, now Mr. Femi Fani Kayode is faced with different issues with government, you know, and there hasn't been a time that Lekan Fatodu's name has been mentioned in whatever situation. So and I told Sowore, after he did all of those things, that have been actually, the day I was going to the office of the NSA, it was shocking. I saw some of Sowore's friends, and they were like, oh, Sowore was telling you, you didn't play ball, you didn't act well, I'm sure you're not going to come out of that place. Up to the time I was going to that place on the 20th of, I think, January 2016, you know, they still assumed that, okay, this guy was hiding something. And I was saying it like the audio, the phone conversation that you guys released, that if I've got anything to hide, you know, that you have gone beyond an individual that I'm not going to open up to when it comes to things like this. I would rather open up to you so we can have a way of sorting things out than hiding, you know. So I went there, I came back just within 25 minutes. 3 friends, and I mentioned all of I mentioned their names, and that was it.
Okay. This is your friend of close to 20 years or over 20 years. Mm-hmm. You are trying to bring your friend down, right? How does that make you feel right now?
Wow, that's a big statement. The last thing I want to do in my life is to bring anybody down. But the last thing, one thing I will never take from anybody is to attempt to bring me down, you know. The arrest of Sowore on that day.
So this is tit for tat for you?
No, not tit for tat. Just to give a hard lesson about life. Number one, the arrest was, number one, demystification of Sowore. That was the first arrest. Number two, the realization of the fact that there is life outside of digital space. you know, realization of the fact that there is difference between digital illusion and physical reality, you know. So I think I'm right to seek justice. I think I'm right to confront tyranny. I think I'm right to let Sowore know very well that you are totally wrong. And that is the position.
Well, what if he comes up and says now that he's never met you, you're not his friend? What, I mean...
There are some things you cannot deny. You know, you can try to just find a way to cover up, just move away from it. When the arrest happened, he said that, you know, I came to the car and we thought that, oh, this is the guy that I know, and he said it in his report. He did not deny ever our relationship for so many years, so he's not going to deny that, definitely.
Okay, so last Friday you led a protest to his office in Ikeja. Was it there?
It's still around, but the gate of the office was shut, so I wouldn't know if it was there, but we saw it.
What was the reaction like when you got to the office of Sahara Reporters in Lagos, a big online media organization, and you were carrying placards calling Sahara Reporters fake news? What was the reaction of people around, and even the reaction of the workers who were
Before that, let me say something. Before that protest, I'd already written to Governor Ambode to explain and give evidences about the criminality that happened on the day of Sowore's arrest. Okay. And in some ways, he was trying to deny even his connection with that property, you know. And I can understand when he did a quiet launch and he had people like, you know, somebody like Professor Shoyinka, just to give that place a semblance of credibility. And it was interesting that the man even mentioned that now that people will be aware of where you operate, it will be very easy for them to pick you up when you know you've committed any wrongful acts, you know. And the purpose of that issue of fake news is just the fact that let us look at it from the realistic point of view. I did mention something earlier, it's because of my guts, it's because of my reputation, it's because of the fact that I have my links in media, civil society, and within the development space. So it was difficult for me to just sit by or just sit down and just be thinking about the fact that this guy did something like that and he's going to get away with it. He's been getting away with a lot of things. What he doesn't understand is it is very easy to blackmail people in power because many members of the public will say, oh, that's what they do. They have this assumption about what they do, you know. When you confront a private citizen, you are confronting a community. Because the interesting thing is, the majority of people that I led to that place were people that were living on the same streets or within the same area with Sowore before Sowore traveled out of the country. Just to let him know that this thing that you are doing, I am up to the task, you know. So there's no...
Okay, you have an audio of the phone conversation, allegedly, because you can actually doctor people's voices.
Okay.
You are sure that that audio is authentic?
Actually, the originality of the conversation will be confirmed by him. I'm an individual that is very fanatical about documentation. I will not lose a message, you know, document and stuff like that, you know. And I just took up that decision to record that thing when it was getting... Sowore called me like... Sowore called me in this text message. He called me for... I think he called... It was... He called me for like, let me say, 3 days consecutively.
Asking for the 100 million?
Yeah, exactly. No, the first one, my reaction pulled him back. He now started coming back to say, oh, I'm going to really save you if you can do what I asked. It was the first time that I mentioned it. So I have the dates. I have mentioned it. It's between the 6th and 8th.
Can you play us that audio?
There is even another one when we were let me show you this one. This one is not out here. I try to moderate my conversation in the public place, and I try to see that reasoning will prevail on him, and we understand that the fact that as far as I am concerned, I have put it out in the public. I am not bothered anymore about what he's going to write about me, about what he's going to do. But as long as we all still going to be working physically, you know, on the physical space, I am going to get justice, you know. And it is interesting that he's trying to come to Nigeria now, you know. So you will understand that if you want to live in a decent society, you will have to embrace public rectitude. That is my point. But let me show you this one.
You can't make a call. He will himself. You cannot be treating me.
You can't make a call. You are an idiot. Olenye, you are a blackmailer. Right. You are asking for money, 100 million naira, out of the imaginary 500 million naira. Shame on you.
Are you saying Sowore uses Sahara Reporters to destroy people?
I'm saying it. No, Sowore's story is really on it fits into the unfortunate narrative of Nigeria. What do I mean by that? The story of the good old days. The story of a long predicted potential that has been difficult to even attain its full potential. Like for instance now, Sowore started well. I must say that because I was one of the early... Yeah,
I was going to come to that. It's not like he's been a bad boy according to you all his life.
No, at all. It's a case of the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, and he completely left the good now and he's focusing on the bad and the ugly, which is definitely... And there isn't anything that Sahara Reporters is doing that is really big or special to me. And I will tell you that. So... people really get into all of this. When Sowore started, look at it for instance, there was no competitor at the time. But look at now, a lot of competitors are coming up. You see the premium times, you see the cable, and you know other platforms.
You have to mention Pulse.
Yeah, you see the Pulse. I'm coming to that. Yeah. So, and what I say about these people is the fact that they are raising the bar in terms of professionalism. When they did something wrong, they are quick to apologize. Like I will cite the examples of Pulse, examples of the cable and the premium times, for instance. Now, they did one wrong story about Ajumobi's daughter, and these guys, I was impressed when I saw the retraction. And Sowore did the same story. He did not take it off. Okay, a friend of ours, I'm not going to mention the guy's name. He was living in the States. He had an issue. I'm not going to go into details because a lot of people would know. He was a bus driver. You know, in the course of his job, he struck a pole, and the pole fell on the baby, and the baby died. Everyone within the space, all friends, were told that they should just keep it within this space. The story should not escape and everything like that. And Sowore, who is friends with this guy, was the first person to put the story on Sahara Reporters. You know, and that was why the story got to Nigeria, and everybody was like, this guy, he was a fantastic guy, he was a gentle guy and all that. In short, he concluded that this is what led to the accident, you know. So what I'm saying in essence is, when you started good and you feel you are the only person in that space, you know, the arrogance of success is to think that what you did yesterday is going to be relevant today. Now that is fading out. Your competitors are rising up. They are doing things that are, you know, upright, that are decent. And if you don't embrace that, it's going to be the end of whatever you think you have. Let me show you another one. When that thing happened, and he was saying to me that it was just a Twitter away. If I don't respond, I don't do this. I don't want to mention this guy's name because I don't want to give him any relevance. He's one of his closest associates on the cyberspace. The guy just went on Twitter with my picture and with the picture of Mr. Faniga, the UK-based Lekan Fatodu, photo attached. Already set up Leeman Communications used by at real FFK to receive 1.7 billion naira. Dasuki. Look at this certificate of incorporation of Leeman Communications. This is a company that was registered in 2003. Is that the kind of society that we want to live? Some guys, they just sit on the internet, and when they attempt to collect money from you, it didn't work. They want to destroy everything that you have worked on in your life. That is not. Okay,
so is this case between you and Sowore in court? Is the police investigating?
No. There are two sides to the case. There's the side of the criminal side of it, you know, the petition, and there is the side of the civil side of it as well, which I'm going to take up. So, because of the fact that when the police invited Sowore the second time, they had to cancel the meeting. So the last time I spoke with them, they said they're going to reach out to both parties. So I want to give them time to exhaust that area, and you know, you take it from there.
Now, last question: do you want to bring down Sahara Reporters? Is that your end game?
No, it is never my intention.
Because if you bring down Sowore, you brought down Sahara Reporters. Is that what you want to do?
No, I will contribute. My intention is to contribute to bringing decency and sanity to our public conversation, particularly the media activities in Nigeria. Now, it doesn't bother me. I was sitting there in my corner just to do my things. Now I am out. You know, I will come out. I will continue to come out. I will mobilize people. You know, except you want to permanently stay on the internet and be doing nonsense, but you want to operate on the physical space. You know, you have to embrace decency. So my issue is, if tomorrow comes and he is choosing a better path, you know, he's definitely going to get my support. But if he continues in that path, I will be part of those people, you know, that would work against such.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lekan Fatodu, for giving Paul this exclusive interview. We'll hope to see you here some other time. Maybe we'll bring Sowore. We'll want Sowore to come on the show and give his own side of the story. Someday, very soon, we hope. We'll do everything in our capacity to bring him to refute some of what you've said on the show. Thank you guys for sticking with us. Have a wonderful day ahead.